of the night will be once again Triple Strike versus Northern Storm. I am Kenos, joined by Prowler. So, with all the work that they were trying to put into the previous game, Triple Strike, just didn't have the execution for it. So obviously we want to see more of that in the next series. Do you think, what kind of bans will they be doing after what happened in the last game?
I would expect him to keep it mostly the same. Banning out the MF was great. It was nice to see Northern Storm get taken out of their normal, peel for misfortune and then watch her shoot her guns a lot. Comp, especially taking away the Mumu that Fatley's been playing so well on. I wouldn't expect them to change a lot. I think they just need to execute better, take a deep breath, hey, we lost that one, and move on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're going to see at least a little bit with the, banning out the Malzahar, I would think maybe. I think his presence alone bothered them quite a bit.
Yeah, we'd mentioned too, once he got his ult, just being able to go in, that was the first kill that happened, and it just snowballed out of control from there.
Yeah, so, I mean, my thought would be is that what they're going to do is they're going to take out the Malzahar. See? There it is. and after that, then they'll, kind of go back to more of what they were doing. I'm not sure if they were so bothered by the Varus and the Galio. My guess would be they weren't. But just, that press button, kill somebody,
if you insist,
that Malzahar represents, I think, is sticking in their heads pretty clearly.
We always give Vigar and Syndra credit for having the press button win game, and instead it was the Malzahar who was pulling it out, of course.
Right, of course. And, I mean, the thing about Malzahar is that he encourages team play, right? Because he's not necessarily going to kill somebody on his own, so that naturally encourages more active team roaming, team ganking, things like that, as opposed to getting caught out on your own as a Vigar. But we'll have to see how that carries over and what new mid lane champ we're going to see out of Northern Storm.
Another interesting point here, so Kokoro no Nagi's out for Northern Storm, we have Goonstomp swapping in, so you'd expect the bans to be taken out of the mid lane. Instead we get 3 mid lane bans going on to Malzahar, Swain, and Orianna. It's gotta be nice being a champion on one of the other roles there who never has to worry about catching a ban. Even with the misfortune up, they still go back to Varus. That's interesting. I would have expected without misfortune being banned that they'd kind of run back to that well, and they seem confident in the comp that they had.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is interesting that, as you said, the misfortune was let through and they just kind of ignored it. Kane getting picked up here. Hopefully get a better showing out of him than we've seen previously today. And Leona. All right, so another tank support, though a little bit more active CC coming out of her than you get out of Tom.
And the Kane's bringing the CC too, so it's, they're going back to that having the CC. I'd expect their carries to be something similar to the Xerath and Jinx that they had previously.
Be interesting if we see another Master Yi today. Nope.
Just a quick hover there. Just wanted to show that the pentakill's an option.
Yeah. Alright, so, yeah, once again, as you said, very similar team to what we had in the first game. If they stay on this path, the mid's going to be the only difference. Echo! Alright, Echo hasn't been that common.
That might be another first time, of course, for Goonstomp. Maybe that's in his champion well that he can pull out of.
Yeah, we'll have to see where it goes, where it comes from with this, because, I mean, when you're looking at a game where, one team lost as definitively as Triple Strike did, you're expecting to see some kind of change-up. And I think that's always the most interesting part of the second game, is just seeing where the mindset is, who are they afraid of, who don't they care that much about, and what roles are being reversed. And so far it looks like we're going to have a completely different team out of Triple Strike.
Yeah, obviously they didn't see it the same way I did, that their comp was fine, they just didn't play to it. They're looking to completely change everything, and maybe that's part of why they lacked execution, was that they just weren't playing the champions that they needed to in order to have that.
so I go.
Alright, still the same kind of wave 2 bans though, taking out the Shen and the Lowy. But I mean, that once again kind of brings me to a thought I have about these bans. It's interesting to me that, you know, when you have someone like Goonstomp, who is a bit of an unknown player, that they'd secure a champion for him right away, rather than maybe necessarily grabbing the Lowy for Shaken, or something like that.
You know, that is an interesting point, because you know that Alawi's got to be a top priority ban. Some of that might go into just making your support, not a support player, a new player coming into your team feel welcomed. You know, boosting their confidence a bit. You saw the gank early from Kha'Zix to help out the Malzahar. That can play in a lot to, you know, having good team synergies, making sure that they feel like they're part of the team. We're going to pick your champion first, make you feel included. I think that's a huge reason that Echo's getting priority here over an Alawi, who Brad is so good on.
I think that it could also just be champion pool, because I mean, obviously, who's to say that anyone besides Shaken Not Stirred owns Lowy? So
owns Alawi and is doing well on him.
Right, exactly. So, you know, if that's someone that, you know, only Shaken has Alawi in the first 3 picks, it's possible that's not someone that they can pick up early. But of course, Kled getting picked, also a rather popular choice, and Lux, no doubt, for Ace, who is, of course, very good on Lux.
Absolutely, we're getting completely different teams. We have the Varus and the Kha'Zix, and apart from that, it's all new stuff.
Well, not all new. Troll pick again.
Yeah, as soon as I say something.
Oh, Ornn. We're getting the Ornn. All right. So yeah, completely new lineup there for Triple Strike. Really excited to see how they do with this. And of course, you know, Kled, totally different sort of way to engage in fights. Not too much on the ranged front this time coming out of Northern Storm. It's all very in your face, except for Varus, of course.
Interesting, because the poke worked out so well for them. They were able to get pressure onto the Jinx, onto the Xerath, so that they didn't have to deal with the tanks of Triple Strikes last time. I'm just very interested to watch the top lane. Ornn versus Kled, Shaken Not Stirred against Greatbeard Voden. That's where my attention will be for this.
I think it'll also be really interesting to see just how the all of the kind of large group AoE that we're dealing with in this game plays into how Northern Storm engages. Obviously, it's not a lot, but you have Trundle's Pillar of Ice and you have Varus's ultimate. And with Kled, Kha'Zix, and Echo all wanting to jump on you and eat you alive, I think that's a very scary thing that Triple Strike's going to have to look out for.
Yeah, if Trundle's as good with his pillars as they were last game, Triple Strike's in trouble. Just a matter of fact. Trundle was a huge reason that they had those early kills that they used to snowball. If they can, work on their disengage, I think that they'll be all right. With these comps, I'm leaning towards Northern Storm having a bit of the advantage just because of how much they want to be in your face, and Triple Strike not having the same tankiness that they did last game to deal with that.
Mm-hmm. That being said, though, Leona is someone who can really punish you for being tanky and in her face. She's got her, guaranteed stuns. She has her really good disrupting ultimate. Her entire kit is basically CC. So it'll be really interesting to see if I think the Leona is able to lock things down and make her presence felt. I think they'll be able to hold the line and take this game off of Northern Storm.
Definitely, and Triple Strike has a better team for picking up those early kills that did so well for Northern Storm in the previous one. I would not be surprised if this was a complete turnaround where Triple Strike just rolls through Northern Storm the same way that they got rolled the previous game.
Yeah, especially with the Ornn. Ornn's ability to get things done with his passive, his new passive abilities, and of course being able to stay in lane as long as he wants, should help quite a bit. But I think it's going to come down to Leona, Lux laser beams, and how effective the large slows and stuns are from Northern Storm.
Absolutely, and you always want laser beams to win just because they're fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. And they always, come out of nowhere. It's like, well, I guess I'm safe. Nope, I just lost 700 hit points.
I suppose our mid lane is laser beams against glow sticks, so you know I've seen enough Star Wars to know how that one works out.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be interesting to see, of course, because obviously Goonstop is less of a known quantity. So seeing how good his Echo is will be very interesting. I think that, of course, Ace would have been more comfortable or happier if he'd been able to get Icebird off in this game, but of course Lux's range could help quite a bit depending on the positioning.
And Articuno also gets those legendary stats, which help us out a lot too. You know, other Pokemon don't have that same base stat to go off of.
Uh-huh. All right, so here we go. We've got our final game of the night. We'll see if Triple Strike can take out Northern Storm in this second game.
Hopefully, Kazak's got the message about skin intimidation too, and manages to pull out Kane with white hair here.
Well, all new, all new champions, all new skins. We'll have to see. No, he did not.
And,
In fact, there's even less skins. There's one skin. It's just disappointing, is what it is.
And I mean, the having the skin to win the game held true for last game. So interesting that Triple Strike goes with only one skin.
Oh, well. All right, so Northern Storm wins the skin game again.
If they lose in 5 minutes, we'll know why. I
Yeah.
mean, the answer's right there for you.
Yeah, I mean, just, now what you want to do is you want to go with a Riot shop and you want to pick out some skins. Use promo code.
Go libel.
Gull Ibo. Bridge to Celia. All very effective promo codes, I'm sure. And just, tell them the LCUS sent you.
Any issues with that, please contact Riot support, though. They'll be sure to help you out.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So ask for Tryndamere specifically. I'm sure he'll be happy to help you out with that. All right. So a little bit more of an aggressive team comp, of course, means that we might see a little bit more likely of an invade. I'm not sure if Northern Storm is the one who would be doing it, though. I think that Triple Strike could have had a possibility for an invade here. They've got a stun, a snare, and 2 relatively high damage dealers.
Yeah, it's interesting that they didn't decide to at least try to force an engage, instead of going with the normal 5-point warding here, well, self-warding.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully
And
Lux
Blue
doesn't
feeling,
get caught out here. Okay.
Blue feeling confident just having the champions laugh at us while standing around their buff.
Yeah, I mean, definitely playing safe. It's possible they anticipated the invade, and that's why they all moved down to red, rather than doing, like you said, the 5-point protection.
And so we'll get just our normal starts here, nothing too fancy.
Yeah, Lux being aggressive right away, as Ace does like to do.
I'm sure he's looking for revenge after the Malzahar ult coming to fruition.
Mm-hmm. Alright, a little bit of poking going on up here in the top lane as well. It's interesting, well, once the little stun exchange in the bot lane happens. It's interesting with Kled versus Ornn, because while Ornn, never has to necessarily go back because he can chop in lane, Kled doesn't necessarily, at least, in terms of healing, have to go back because he can just wait for his pet to come back to him and get that big health boost.
They picked very similar champions both games. We saw the wet noodle fight happening at the end where Galio and Cyan would touch each other a little bit, and then it would be the end. Doing the same thing here where neither of them have to go back. It's kind of like a tit for tat. I like the rivalry up in the top lane between Shaken and Greybeard of Ode.
I'm sure someone's going to be complaining about me not changing up the scoreboard right away. I'm sorry. Just the game's so exciting, I don't want to miss anything. Especially the standing around for 40 seconds.
I mean, as long as I'm not the one who's down there, you probably have less of an issue, but...
Alright, ooh! 2 flashes blown up here in the top jungle area. Kane almost gets taken out, but manages to get away. Ornn running up here to deal with the Kazakhs. Let's see if it manages to get anything done. A couple of good knockups. Pally could be in a lot of trouble here.
Still pursuing it through. And looks like he'll get out.
Yeah. Just a little bit, that natural void creature speediness of 350 versus 335.
Great job by Greybeard of Odin knowing to rotate that way, though.
Yeah, definitely good, really good awareness, really good prediction, and really good job keeping Kled on its toes as well. Kled very low.
Yeah, even after the rotation chasing on the Kazakhs, Kled's still at a third of his health. Of course, Scarl's on its way.
A lot of really good attempts for some pickoffs here early by Triple Strike. They really turned the heat on.
And big engage in the top lane too.
Yeah, I mean it'll be. Actually, it looks like it's getting turned on. Decided the last second he couldn't take it. There we
Great
go.
turn around there.
Yeah, that natural tankiness. Gets to get the play on him. Gets that shield up at the last second. Gets some work done.
That Ornn's just kid. His W is one of the best abilities in League of Legends. You gain a shield, you do % damage. You get the chance to brittle your opponent. It's just truly an amazing move. Great part of his game.
Leona once again being really aggressive. Ooh, a little bit of a misclick there by the Lucian. The hero Winion blocks it, so he can't get that extra little bit of damage off. Went to secure the kill, but still frustrating to not get that damage.
And as we know from our first game here, that heroes take 3 minutes to respawn, of course.
Indeed. Poor Ace gets picked off with a gank in the mid lane. Of course, Lux doesn't have very much in the way of maneuverability, and Echo did blow flash.
Yeah, at least it wasn't first blood this time, I'm sure Ace is mad about being the first one to die in lane both games, but that's just how it goes sometimes, especially when you have an aggressive jungler like Kazakhs.
Yeah, hopefully Kayn gets to get something done. Kayn's doing a lot of he does get that nice smite off on the crab, but Kayn's been doing a lot of posturing and not really very much in the way of actual engaging. So here's hoping he steps up. Not really the greatest week for Kayn, it seems.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because Kayn's been such a strong presence in the other weeks. I don't know if that's LCUSers adapting to Kayn and knowing to pressure early when they don't have their form red or blue, or if that's Kayn being weak just in the meta currently.
Yeah, or just fatigue from having to come back after a couple of weeks and not picking Taric jungle. Kayn looks pretty hungry now, though. A lot of fighting going on here. Ooh, Lucian blows flash. He's probably going to regret that. Kayn does some really good maneuvers in the wall, though. Does make a really good play there. Alright, so there we go. There's some of the Kayn that we're looking for.
There was a part of me that wanted to see Red go for the tower dive there, and the smarter part of me, of course, said don't do it and take your win.
They might. I mean, Lucian's trying. He's putting them on notice.
Kayn's sticking around too. They are both still low, and Kayn just decides to pick up a red buff.
Yeah, hopefully he's able to do it. This might actually not be the best idea with Kazakhs coming back. Yeah, it looks like he's just dropping the control ward. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah.
This is always the tense part of jungling when you're doing something you shouldn't be, and Kazakhs is right there.
Oh well.
Oh. Nice of Kayn to leash for the team that's down a little bit.
Yeah, help them out. Junglers help each other out.
No, everyone else blames us for everything, so you might as well.
Alright, Ornn's still really dominant in the lane. Not really up on CS, but he does have that kill.
And he's starting to pressure Shaken off of all the CS as well, too. So I'd look for that lead of Shaken's to evaporate into Ornn's lead very shortly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the only disadvantage that Ornn has is if he went back to heal or something like that. Good use of the blast fruit there to get away.
And Northern Storm putting a lot of pressure on Ace early.
Yeah, I mean, they're really taking advantage of the fact that Kayn hasn't had much presence in the mid lane, and so they're claiming mid lane for themselves. And Ace, I think, is very wisely holding back and waiting for opportunities. Though it does get chipped pretty hard by Echo, so he's got to look out for that.
Yeah, he's dealing with a lot of pressure right now. Heads off to him for doing so well with constant ganking.
Yeah, and I mean, once again, we see that Northern Storm just has really good ward coverage. I mean, they can see almost everything in Triple Strike's jungle, at least in the bot lane. It's actually kind of insane.
And, you know, that's just a pro of Northern Storm. They play so well together. They play every part of the game as perfectly as you possibly can.
Alright, Orin still hanging out. Ooh, gank that I missed there. See, there it is. Alright, so Kayn once again probably
Leashing red buff for
Yeah.
Kha'Zix.
Yeah. Probably regretting giving that red buff over in the first time now. And he's down by 2 levels. That's going to be hard to come back from.
Yeah, and with the ward coverage that they have and Kayn needing time before he can change into a different form, that's going to be a real issue. Triples and great engage in the bot lane.
Yeah, really good job there managing to lock that down. Maybe able to get another one, but it looks as though they're playing it safe. Orin might be in a little bit of trouble, though. No wards to spot that out for him. We'll see if he gets away from it. He does have Flash available and his ultimate, which he does use. Decides not to... Oh, there it is. Maybe a little bit late on the Flash there. But
As
does
long as you
manage
make it
to-
out, you're fine.
Yeah.
He did that weird turnaround for a second. I wonder if that wasn't a misclick on his part.
Yeah. I mean, any battle you can walk away from is a win, right?
Absolutely. Especially, you know, if you're going to use your flash, you might as well make sure you get away.
Yeah, a little bit of extra damage there. They spot the Echo coming down with one of the few wards that Triple Strike does have up. Big stun coming down, but fortunately for the Lucian, he's out of the bubble. Of course, before anyone says it, I know he wouldn't have been stunned until Echo went into it, but still good to be out of it.
Better safe than sorry, especially with the slight kill lead there. Just take the advantage that you have when you're up 2-0 and go home with it.
Yeah, definitely get those items. Nice little poke there. Kha'Zix still hanging around though. Kayn is very close to level 5. Might be able, we'll probably get 5 with this with the kills he's getting currently in the jungle.
And Kane's lucky there's some part of his jungle to go to right now. Kha'Zix has been living in there.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
this point.
most of the wards have expired, so or have been cleared out. So fortunately, he has a little bit of safety. Looks like some posturing to try to take Dragon. Another big gank coming in on Ace. He's going to be in a lot of trouble here. Kayn runs in. Oh, Ace does. Oh, really good flash. Kayn here to help. Gets away. Laser doesn't necessarily hit who Ace wanted to. Good trap, though. Unfortunately, Ace is all alone. And the troll's coming up to him. Might be able to get this corner. Good flash there. Yeah, Ace is probably going to die. Oh!
And the heal pop by Lucian to save her. And they turn around with the ultimate from Lucian and get the kill.
Varus does manage to secure that though, but Lucian's able to get a lot more. Everyone's really weak here. Lucian might be able to clean this up. And he does. They might be able to get the Echo too. Come on, Kayn, you can do it. I believe in you.
Finish, finish.
No, too deep. And now Varus is going to take him out.
Oh.
Yeah, got a little too excited there.
Oh. And that's too bad. They had done so well up to that point. Great job by Ace avoiding the 3-on-2 and walking it back down to where Lucian can get a bigger lead. Both of those kills going on to Lucian.
And Varus is going to steal Dragon.
The objective control by Northern Storm is incredible.
Yeah, helped especially by their ward coverage. I mean, the fact that he could see that that's where the Dragon was at in terms of positioning and health was just...
And then the execution to pull it off, too. Just outstanding job. You can't say enough good things about him.
Yeah, definitely. Despite all of those losses, though, I still think that Triple Strike did manage to come out on top in that fight.
Yeah, the really nice thing with them stealing the Dragon there is that it's just a Cloud Drake. You can afford to lose those. Not ideal, obviously, but it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, and a lot of really good jobs, like you said again, by Ace, managing to prolong that fight long enough without, you know, just necessarily giving up or dying to be able to get Lucian in position to get those kills. 4-0 on Lucian, that's a really good place to be.
It's really too bad this isn't the last game where they had those 3 tanks that Lucian could hide behind. Obviously, they do have, quite a bit of CC and everything sitting in front of them, but...
Alright. Kayn is still trying to find something to happen. I'm not sure how... Looks like Kayn is ready to become Darken. So he has been dealt enough damage to evolve. It's just a question if he wants to be tanky or not. It's possible he'd prefer to be a Shadow Assassin, in which case he's got a while to go still. Ace once again being caught on a rotation. That's really unfortunate. Looks like Lucian and Leona are a little bit quicker on the rotation this time to help. Good laser beam, takes almost all of Fat Lee down, and Kane's going right for him. Oh, amazing job there. I'm really hoping that that was coordinated and not just not just Ace screaming for help at the top of his lungs.
As much as I've talked about Northern Storm's ward control, I'm sorry, not just ward control, but game control overall on the objectives, Ace has been outstanding this game. He's a huge reason that they have this 5-kill lead, being able to survive 3-man ganks time and again.
Yeah, 5 kills now on the Lucian. Kayn, like we said before, able to evolve if he would so choose. But I think the simple fact, I mean, obviously, you don't want to go back if you don't have to, because obviously that makes you lose experience, lane presence, all sorts of things like that. But for Kayn in particular, going back is kind of required at a certain point in the mid-game.
Yeah, I would be looking for him to do it now, especially after they cleaned up those 3 kills. Now is your time to reset, because the other team has to as well. Instead, it looks like he's going to go patrol the jungle some more. Yeah,
I mean, a lot of their gold advantage, at least until this Lucian and Lux are now going back, was sitting in their wallets until just now. So now we may feel a little bit more of their 3k gold lead.
And we're seeing, almost the opposite of what happened last game, or basically the same thing with, the teams swapped, where Blue's got the early kill on the bot tower, they have a lot of damage onto the mid one. They have the early lead of 3k. I would not be surprised if Triple Strike just snowballs out of control in the next couple minutes here.
Well, we'll have to see. They have to keep up the good coordination in these responses to ganks on Lux or in other lanes. I mean, Lux getting a little out of position here, but no one's there to follow up, so no harm, no foul there. Echo
and Ornn has to blow Flash in the top lane to avoid the Kha'Zix gank.
Yeah, Ornn's been really good at surviving ganks as well, though he hasn't had to deal with as many. Nice gank attempt here by Kayn and Lux, getting a little bit of damage off, but not so much the Echo can't still hang around. We got 4 in the mid here, looking for their first turret of the game. Probably will get it, assuming Lucian's unharassed, and he is. Oh, actually, no,
Varus isn't rotating some, but I suppose they're gonna go off. With Varus being in the bot and you knowing where most of the champions are, I would have expected Red to push their lead a little more, go for that second turret.
Yeah, I think they're more focused on fringe objectives to try to get a little more of that map control at all stages, as opposed to having an outlying turret, would be my guess. Plus, Ornn was already doing work up there, might as well go help a brother out.
Ornn's been left alone for a large portion of the game.
Alright, little laser shot there by Lux, but she's not quite fed enough for it to matter. Does find herself caught up by the Kha'Zix. Great flash, but Kha'Zix, of course, has a follow-up flash. So, Lux finally taken out after a lot of dancing to survive for as long as she has. Kayn still has not evolved, but now he can evolve into either form. So I'd imagine we're going to see him go Shadow Assassin the next time he gets back to base. Which I'm not sure if that's the correct play, actually. I mean, we were talking about, wanting a little more CC, a little more tank to help out your already somewhat, well-fed characters. Do you think that he should go Shadow Assassin or Darken?
I'm a huge fan of Red Kayn, the Darken form. The lifesteal turns him into a super tank to kind of join the front line. You have, we've seen Lux with the 4 assists and the 2 kills, and Lucian with 5 kills and 3 assists with no deaths. It's time to protect those characters, and that you need Red Kayn for.
Right, especially with the amount of damage that Echo and Kha'Zix are capable of. You're not necessarily you're 1, 2, and 2 as Kayn. You're not necessarily going to be able to stand toe to toe with them if you go damage. Going a little bit tankier, being able to survive a little bit longer. That might be what he wants. And he seems to agree with us. Going Darken. All right.
It's a good call by Chaosix. I'm surprised he didn't do it earlier. You know, there was a lot of potential for that to happen sooner. I'm not sure why he hung around so long, being that the second form is so much better than just normal Kane.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, like we said, he just didn't want to go back. He was busy, you know, trying to establish some presence that, despite how well they've been doing in this game so far, they still don't necessarily, Triple Strike doesn't necessarily seem to have much presence, I would say. I mean, I feel like, you know, there's still a little bit of fear there. Kane is still 2 levels down.
And I might be completely wrong, but I think you can attribute some of that just to playing Northern Storm, who have been king of the hill for so long here, that haven't lost a game, that can kind of seep into where you want to just protect your lead instead of really work to expand it.
Sure, especially after losing the first game.
Is losing the first game in such dramatic fashion, you know, being down 13,000 gold at the end is rough.
Alright, looks like Storm is going to try to get this second turret. Lux does get a cheeky laser off that helps drive him out, though. Ace has been doing a lot of that lately. He's been using his laser a little bit more on minions and a little bit less on actual champions.
Ooh, Kane getting caught out here. Ults to save himself for a little bit, but he's got a lot. Oh, and good flash.
Should try to shadow run through the wall here, maybe. Not enough Kane dimensional thinking there.
Not thinking with portals.
Yeah, you know, I mean that's the most frustrating and most fun thing about Kane. Though I suppose Shadow Step might have been on cooldown. It looks like it was. So never mind, Kane. My apologies. But I mean that's the great thing about Kane is, you know, you think you've got him cornered and then he just runs through 3 walls and it's like fighting Italian but less cinematic. Alright, so with that pick off, the gold lead has closed, especially with a couple of towers that have been taken out. Gold lead is closed to about 1k. So definitely anybody's game right now.
And Northern Storm has been in this situation too, where they've been down a little bit and they find a way to come back. It's a testament to their team.
And also a testament to just, you know, some misplays, miscoordination, out of position things that happen with other teams. Northern Storm doesn't necessarily have those problems, or at least they have them and they're fortunate enough that the other team doesn't take advantage of them for whatever reason. But we'll have to see as this goes on. Looks like it's probably going to be a little bit of a longer game.
And the underrated side of Ornn is the longer the game goes, the more that he becomes an issue. Not just because he's a good character late game, but the extra item, you know, the little evolved items that you get can really turn a game around once you get to those 6 items. When everyone's full build, the team with Ornn is going to be doing better than the team without.
Alright, so here's part of that taking advantage of things that I was talking about before. We have, yeah, there's the Leona closing that out. Awesome snare there. And so now they're taking advantage of not only being up 1 kill, but having the Herald, who I might have been accidentally summoned in the bot lane, but it's distracting Echo rather significantly.
I love when Herald uses it as a distraction. It's a free split pusher, kind of like, you know, I'm such a fan of Yorick. His Maiden does the same job where it'll push on its own for you, so someone's got to go deal with it, and that's creating a 5v4 elsewhere on the map.
Alright, maybe a little bit too much confidence here. Good call by Triple Strike backing off there. They were probably going to get collapsed on relatively quickly.
Yeah, I'm surprised Lux and Kane didn't rotate that way. You know, when you have Echo forced into the bot, you can really work to forced objectives, and they didn't do that as much. That's fine, you know, get the extra pressure mid, but I'm looking for them to expand their lead and really hammer on to Northern Storm.
I'm also looking for them to expand their ward coverage a little bit. If they could just get like 1 or 2 wards in the jungle, I think that would help them out quite a lot. But instead they end up losing their last bot turret before inhibitor. Getting Echo to blow his flash though. Lucio might be able to close this out if he dashes. Nope. Ah well. But yeah, once again, you know, missed opportunity there. Good knock up there by the Ornn though. Ornn might actually be able to close this out. Pled's really out of position. Ooh, laser tries, misses.
And good job by the Trundle to put up a pillar to seal it off. Red team looks like they're going to turn around on the Baron now.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, this is definitely a good call. I mean, though Kled does have teleport as well, so Kled should be able to get back into this. All right, so looks like we might just have a regular team fight rather than a Baron. Good teleport there by the Echo to stake a claim there and manage to delay the Baron.
I'm going to say, you know, good teleport in, even smarter to cancel the TP and not get caught. They had so many traps that Leona looked like she was ready to jump on him too. I think that would have been a dead Echo if he'd finished it.
Still sticking around the pit though, and actually much to their benefit, Northern Storm decided to rotate back out and kind of left a good portion of their team alone here. Good chilling smite. Hopefully Leona lands her. Yep, she does. Good stun. That ice pillar though, and the ult from the Varus helped quite a bit. Now there's a lot of split pushing going on, so rather than getting some free kills, it now looks as though Northern Storm is able to take quite a bit of advantage of this, get a free turret off of it, and almost all the damage on this inhibitor turret in the bot lane.
That's rough too when you got the 5v3 and you can't force it enough to make a play while the two aren't there.
Ooh, good job by the Leona. She manages to stop, or at least, you know, slow down the Kanon quite a bit. Lucian gets caught out though.
Does take the Kazakhs down with him, but it's sad when you lose your, you know, then 6-0-3 Lucian.
Alright, so gold lead is now more or less even thanks to all the extra turrets that Northern Storm picked up. Looks like they're going to look to continue that trend with Echo hanging out in the top lane. Yeah,
and Lux gets caught out there.
Yeah, Lux gets cut out. So yeah, here's what we were talking about before. There's a lot of teams that Northern Storm faces seem to end up making more mistakes as the game goes on than they do. With just things that they don't necessarily follow up on, or they get caught out because they think that they're able to go, you know, establish things or present things based on the flow of the game. And that seems to be what's happening here, but, you know, we can't count out Triple Strike just yet.
Yeah, and the goal lead now tipping towards Northern Storm's advantage here. It's at some point you got to be willing to fight, especially when you have a lead. You know, we see the split push by Echo and Kled in the bot and mid lanes. That's your time to go, and Red just didn't seem to want to. Oh, that was
very unfortunate. And also one of the benefits of Kled, it has to be said, that he can just suddenly get his buddy back at a moment's notice.
And there his, you know, half his health comes right back.
So yeah, unfortunately,
and, you know, that's the difference between Northern Storm and the teams that they play against. When they have the advantage, you know, they have the 3v2 there, they force it, and other teams just, you know, we saw Triple Strike was not willing to go through when they had the 5v3 in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, also just very unfortunate to see Kane not able to perform as well as he has been lately. Like you said, Kane just doesn't seem to be clicking as much as he had been earlier on in the LCUS.
Yeah, Chaos X has been having a hard time against Fat Lee in both these games. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the ward coverage that Northern Storm has had, and some of it's had to do with Fat Lee just playing outstandingly well in the enemy's jungle.
Alright, so we have a 3-dragon, almost 3k gold lead for Northern Storm here. Kazakhs doing a good job. Lux is getting pretty powerful. If she can avoid getting picked off like she has been a lot of these engagements, I think that she could definitely swing some team fights around, but she either hasn't been present or has gotten picked off first.
And again, we're seeing Red kind of spread out here. They're sending 2 to go after Kled, and Echo split pushing top.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how this goes. There's a lot of slows here on the Kled. It's possible he won't get away this time. He did blow his ult, though, and does manage to get away, of course. And in the meantime, oh, really good. I did not know that was an invincible animation. Really good job by the Echo, using his ult at the good time to avoid that laser.
And great job by Northern Storm. They, are able to avoid the 2v1 in the bot lane, and they force the 3v2 in the jungle on the top side. And they take a turret. Looks like they're going to push for Baron now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that split pushing strategies, and I know that quite a few players are not the biggest fan of split pushing, but we've been seeing it all day today. And I think at some point, the team that is, suffering against the split pushing needs to figure out how to deal with it, and that's probably something that a lot of the teams in the LCUS will need to learn how to deal with, because it doesn't seem like it's going away.
Yeah, and the strategies for dealing with a split push are obvious. You either send an extra person there and you have your 3v4, kind of hold on as long as you can, or you send one other person there to deal with it, or you go 5-on-4, wherever the split pusher is not. Hats off to Northern Storm, they've done a great job having disengaged and being able to, kind of step away if there's a 5v4 coming, and when they have those 2v1s, Kled has his ult to get out of there. They have an escape, and then they punish hard on the other side where they have the advantage.
Kazakh's getting a lot of damage off on that Leona.
Yeah. As tanky as Leona is and hasn't died yet, she's still... And Kazakh's is just feasting on her.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't have much in the way of armor, either. At least, compared to the... Well, first compared to Ornn, but also, compared to the Malphite we saw in Game 1 today.
Was that 527 was the highlight from the stream?
Something like that, yeah, that was kind of insane.
The wall.
So we'll have to see where it goes. 6k gold lead now for Northern Storm, trying to accent that. Big level advantages coming out of them as well, with only Ornn really managing to keep up. Speaking of Ornn, he's fighting Echo currently. Echo isn't actually doing much, he's letting all the minions do all the work. Turret goes down.
When you have the 6k gold lead, that's all you have to do is just, work your magic, stay alive, and let the minions do the job. Yeah,
kills going on. Kazakh's, unfortunately for Triple Strike, manages to get those kills and get out. He's been doing that a lot today, actually, where he's managed to get away with, 5 hit points or whatever it was. No, not 5, that was Ace earlier. But all the turrets are down now. Or at least all the inhibitor turrets. Lux does manage to take out Varus. Good for her. They're going after Kled now, but Kled manages to get away. So a couple of kills getting picked up by both teams here. I'm sure that Triple Strike feels good about the kills they have been able to pick up. It's just a question of the kills they haven't been able to yet. Ace gets some good hits off on the Kled though, so that might drive the Kled out finally.
Yeah, you're seeing the same thing there. They get 5 people on defense with short walks to each other. They have, 2 people pressuring with Echo in the bot lane and Kled in the top, and they're not capitalizing on it. They're not pushing the advantages when they have them. And that's been the story of the second half of the game. They jumped out to an early lead, and they didn't force that lead, and played too safe with it, and then got caught out a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, all the catching out, all of the split pushing, it's just really been affecting them, unfortunately. And now they're backed in, all but surrounded by wards, though Kane was heading out to clear some of them. And now I'm guessing, well, I mean, not only are they, are Northern Storm getting the next dragon, but they're also, basically just going to probably stall for time until the next Baron buff, if that. Because, I mean, they own the clock right now with an 8k gold lead.
And if you're Triple Strike, that waiting on Baron buff is going to be beneficial to you. Again, the longer the game goes, the more you can get little item spikes off of Ornn's passive. But it's looking dire for them. They had the early kill lead, that's gone. They have the early gold lead, that's gone. Northern Storm's objective control has been outstanding. They picked up all 4 dragons and the only Baron. Something needs to change here for Triple Strike if they want to get back into this game.
Yeah. Lux's lasers haven't been the greatest today either, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, laser beams, they're nice when they work, and when they're off target, it's not as beneficial.
Just a pretty rainbow then. Alright, Ornn 1v1ing Kled up in the top. Echo trying to do some poking. Yeah, that level difference is now just really showing itself. Kane came over to help and just gets eaten. Lux's laser actually did almost nothing to Kled. I'm not sure what the reasoning is there.
Yeah, it's been the same story here. So Northern Storm rotates 4 up to, kind of go towards the ore, and they manage to pick off the Kane. Meanwhile, the 2v1 in bot lane against Echo ends up with nothing for Triple Strike here. And
a big stun there by the Echo. Good flash to try to get out of it. Good attempt at the stun there by the Leona. There's the laser.
They do pick up 2 kills there, which is a nice consolation prize. They're going to lose a lot for those kills, though.
Yeah, especially with the Ocean Drake just letting Northern Storm just recover all of their losses and come back. Nice
I'm surprised Northern Storm is backing out here. They have the 3-on-3. I'd expect them to turn around any second.
Yeah, and also it's a what cost situation because there's minions all over the place right now. Fortunately, no super minions just yet, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. Yeah, apparently the stream has been killing the battery on my laptop. 1 second, folks. Sorry about that. Just a lot of teleporting going on anyway.
Looks like we'll get a big reset out of Northern Storm, and then they'll make their final push in a short while.
Yeah, especially with Baron coming up in 45 seconds.
Yeah. The nice thing for Triple Strike is that they have both their Nexus turrets to hide under. Triple Strike, Northern Storm is tanky enough where that shouldn't be too big of an issue with the Baron buff, but it's something to add to it if they get enough CC off on a carry who's taking some tower shots.
I'm seeing some complaints about split pushing in chat. So yeah, if it makes you guys feel any better in chat, I feel the same way. Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm expecting Baron's going to be next, so we'll just have the camera hover over the Baron pit.
Yeah, and here it comes with this nice little head on, and I'm sure it'll go down very shortly.
Baron just wants to be festive, but everyone just wants him for his sweet aura. Maybe one year Baron will get a skin that's definitely not Baron. See if he can blend in and avoid getting killed.
I don't know what buff they're taking, but it's definitely not Baron.
Alright, so it looks as though this game's going to be wrapping up in just a second here. Very dominant showing once again by Northern Storm. Triple Strike did manage to keep it interesting for a while there, but like we said, when the game goes longer, it's just a question of consistency, and Northern Storm seems to definitely be the most consistent when it comes to keeping their presence, keeping their state of mind, and being able to close out games.
Yeah, and hats off to them. They've been just fantastic in all stages of the game. If they fall behind a little bit early, they're willing to rebound late. If they do get a lead early, they punish it and they transfer it into a bigger lead as the game goes on. That says a lot about all the players in their team, and the fact that without Kokoro no Kagi, that they don't miss a beat with Goonstomp coming in, that says a lot about everybody.
Alright, so that wraps up the games for today. We will be having an interview, I believe, though apparently I was hoping we could talk to Oceanic Abyss, who is playing the Trundle, but it seems as though he has backed out. So
He's such a troll.
Yeah, really. Man, you try to call a guy up to praise him for doing a good job, and he just runs away. Alright, let's see here.
I was gonna say I'd love to sing everyone's praise here, but it helps to know who we're pulling in first.
Right, absolutely. Alright, 1 second, guys, checking this out. 1, here. I auto-corrected to something rude, but I'm hoping that Ace realizes who I asked for. Autocorrect, kids. You can't live with it, can't live without it.
From what I understand, Shaken Not Stirred is who will be getting into interview in just a second here.
Alright, sounds good. And I have updated the front page here. We'll probably get updated scoreboard in a second if we haven't already. Alright, so once I figure out where he is, it doesn't seem like he's went into the viewers thing yet, so we'll wait for him to get in. But yeah, just a great, very interesting week of games. You know, we had the Yasuo bot, we had the jungle madness from game 1. All right, looks like
nice to see 5 Loco getting to play his Urgot. I know that's his main that's been banned out quite a bit for him.
yeah, especially. All right, let's jump into the interview with Shaken Not Stirred. Hey, Shaken. Shaken. Uh-oh.
You guys hear me?
There you are.
All right.
Hello. At least we could there. You still with us? We heard, can you hear me? And then now there's nothing.
I'm here. Hello.
There
there.
you are again. And now you're not. This is interesting.
The only parts of the interview we get are the
Are him confirming that he's with us.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Now we can, and now you're going to say something else. We won't be able to hear you.
Yeah. Hear
Hey,
me?
there we go. Maybe. All right, we're going to try this out. So first, good job in the game, Shaken.
Thank you.
All right, we got to thank you. We're getting there. So yeah, what are your thoughts about just how those games went for you and your team?
We got a pretty early lead and kind of just don't want to say coasted, but we just played smart, calm, and collected, and just slowly took over the game and took over the map. The Trundle was a huge pick in the first game with his ult melting their 3 tanks, and those were really nice too.
Yeah, definitely. Was the Trundle like? I mean, you probably made a joke about it being a troll pick. Was it something that had been discussed previously, or something you just picked up on the fly?
I mean, we just looked at the team comp, and Joe good, and he played Trundle a bit, so we just thought throw it in there. We kind of look to counter the teams in the later picks, and Trundle was a huge counter pick, we felt, so we took advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
Your split pushing has been a big reason that Northern Storm is undefeated up to this point. Do you have any advice for teams looking to play against Northern Storm to maybe counter yourself? What freaks you out as a split pusher? What's made you so dominant as a split pusher, and what's allowed Northern Storm to go undefeated to this?
I think I don't know how everyone else their communication is with their team, but we're constantly talking. Trying to get wards, and if I push too far forward, tell me to back up. Or there's been a couple of times last week, I was pushing and I got ganged up on, and just the collapse that the team had with me, and also the Scarl really confuses people on how much health I have, and
yeah, that
to chase me down because I can have multiple escapes.
Yeah, there was that one thing when you were Kled at the bot lane toward the middle end there, where you got saved with like 3 hit points by your buddy horse. Yeah. that was painful.
At the beginning, I died early, and Rudy level 4, I think, and that really messed up the lane for me. But with me split pushing, it took away their main tank from being in the fight, so that kind of canceled out for me being weaker at the beginning of the game.
Definitely, yeah. And something we also noticed, like you were saying, communication, but also just the amount of ward coverage you guys get is very impressive. And something that I think a lot of teams should try to emulate. Because, that Kane couldn't get anything done early game because of how much coverage you guys had.
I mean, Sulu pointed out that I don't remember where he killed him, but he got a solo on him or something. And he's like, yeah, he's really far behind. So we just kind of, one of the other things you like to punish people that are behind, when they're laying down already. So we kind of just merciless.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one word for it. But
One thing, Northern Storm's been able to play when they're behind, they managed to make a comeback. When they're ahead, they managed to force their lead. What do you think is the most important reason that you guys have been so dominant as a team?
One of the things, like I said earlier, is communication. You know, we say like, what do we do? What are our win conditions, or something like that? And we just decided, you know, split pushing was the way for this game to go, especially with having the echo as well as teleport. You know, we had 2 TPs, and shout out to Goon Stamp. He filled in well. Gelled with the team right away.
Yeah, definitely. That was something that we were, you know, talking about at the beginning of the first game about how you guys had someone filling in, but I mean, it just seemed to slide in really naturally for you guys. Did you end up practicing with him at all beforehand, or was it just somehow a natural fit?
Yeah. For us being in the latest games, is we get a couple warm-up games usually. Two with everybody in the game. Before that, so we kind of got to gel, and I think they saw his Swain in one of our earlier games, and his Swain was just so.
Yeah, definitely.
To him.
Well, once again, you know, congratulations with the way you guys are able to perform. Looking forward to see not only how well you guys do, but who else can rise up to challenge you.
Tough. I don't want to say I don't think anyone's going to be able to, but. Great Beard of Odin was talking a little bit to Sue. So if you saw that BM at the end, we already know that.
Yeah,
we still got a little area to improve to.
We hide the chat, and I think for a good reason.
I don't know. I think you guys should show it.
Yeah, but we like to pretend that, you know, BM and negative chatting does not exist because we are all fun and positive and happy. But yeah,
that's true.
I think it's even part of our contract when we sign into the LCUS.
Yeah,
Mr. Bradley.
All right, so yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, as Kino said, congratulations on the win. I know you guys are definitely in the playoffs with another dominating performance there.
Right now is not to drop a game, so we're just aiming for that. So we'll see how that goes for the rest of the split and the playoffs.
Yeah, all right. Well, you have a good night. All right, so with that, I did pull the scoreboard up really quick here. Of course, Northern Storm just absolutely crushing it with 12 points, 4-0 and 0. Triple Strike having dropped their games there are still at 5, and Take the Lantern and White Wolf Gaming have both managed to now also get 5. So we now have a 3-way tie for second place, which is, of course, really exciting going into next week. Hopefully someone will be able to assert themselves as a firm second place position. And of course, Hardcore Campers is still very much in it with 4 points.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have good games next week to decide our seeding, and look to be making a move in the playoffs for some team besides Northern Storm, hopefully.
Yeah. And it looks as though it's going to be Take the Lantern is playing Triple Strike next weekend. So big opportunity there to knock someone out, or even possibly both, you know, take a game off each other and maintain their position. And of course, White Wolf should be able to have an opportunity to snap some of that up as well. So yeah, thanks so much for watching the games today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed them as much as we did with all of the interesting picks and all of the really cool plays. And I hope you guys all have a great week. Prowler, last word goes to you.
Great games today. It was nice to see change up from different teams with the time off. You know, watching the players evolve throughout the first split is the main goal as we look to expand the LCUS. So I'm proud of everyone for their contributions, for their willing to adapt to different playstyles, different champions, and evolve as players. It's been great to see, and it was nice to see after just a 2-week break the different champions that came out.
All right, and that'll do it. See you guys next week. Have a good night.